What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode review for Shenmue the animation. This is episode 12, and with me, as always, I have Blue Spade.
Yeah, we're already close to the end of Shenmue 2 of this at this point.
I was really curious how they were going to adapt the rest of this. I was afraid they were going to rush some things, and I will say that the episode overall doesn't feel necessarily rushed, but it definitely feels like they cut some things, or they significantly shortened things and included some things that I think might have been anime original, maybe in order to kind of make the everything go by quicker, I guess, was the intention. Because I did not recognize some things from what I remember from playing Shenmue 2. We'll go over that.
Yeah, so the episode, the episode starts out with Joy and Wong getting wind that the Yellowheads are setting up a trap against Ren and Ryo that are already at the Yellowhead building looking for Yonda Zhu. And of course, Joy was initially hesitant at first, but then after all of her time is spending time with Ryo throughout the show, she kind of decides let's just do it anyway, and then takes Wong over to the Yellowhead building, and then she uses her family name to get her inside the building.
Yeah, we find out apparently she was connected to some Chinese mafia group called the the White Tie something. She was the daughter, I guess, of one of the I guess one of the mafia bosses. Yeah,
and apparently the Yellowhead gang worked for Joy's family, but eventually they ended up betraying her family soon afterwards, and then started working with Londi's organization soon afterwards. So she does manage to get herself in with Wong, and she tells Wong to pretty much go out and try to look for Ryo and Ren by pretty much sneaking through the ventilation areas. And this leaves Joy all alone by herself, which of course the members of the Yellowhead gang are decided to apprehend her by not knocking her unconscious, and then sending her down to the basement.
I don't know if you remember, but I don't know if did Joy and Wong play as big a role in this part of the story in the game? Because
I don't think so, because we see a lot of stuff involving Wong when he's sneaking through the vents. We see
this.
So in this scene, Wong, like I said, he sneaks through the vents, and then he goes into another room where Yonda Zhu is being held at, and then Wong decides to bust him out before he overhears it. Freaking forgot that name. The guy who's usually neat freaking awesome.
Yeah, the guy who's I guess the right hand man of Duni. He was outside the door, and right before he can come in, Wong gets back into the vent, and he decides to use these rats that are crawling through the vents to get them to crawl onto the guy that just freaks him out, and he runs out of the room, and that's his opportunity, I guess, to get Yonda Zhu out of there. I feel like I do remember, I don't think it was Wong that got him out though. I feel like it was Ryo. It was supposed to be Ryo and Ren that did this, but that because I feel like I do remember them pushing him out in his wheelchair or whatever. I don't think Wong did this, but I could be wrong, but I just don't remember this happening.
Yeah. But eventually Ryo and Ren get wind that Joy is being held prisoner down in the basement, so they decide to rescue her first.
And we should mention too, the person that ends up incapacitating Joy is this. I don't think they ever mention what his name is, but it's it's this dude wearing like this weird headdress, like this weird costume that knocks her out. I think I could be wrong, but I think he was supposed to be one of the people you fought, like Rio fought in that in the tournament he took part in the game. Because I think that was when he was supposed to show up, but I don't think he's shown up in the anime until now.
Yeah,
so we have no idea who he is. Like, I think they might have introduced who he is in the game, but I don't think they actually say who he is here.
Yeah, I forgot his name, but yeah, I do remember him as a boss fight in Shenmue 2.
Yeah, because that does happen in this episode, but this is where I think they were like cutting things, because I was kind of expecting this to happen, because it has happened with in some other instances. Rio was just gonna punch him once or something, and he would just win. But that kind of more or less ends up happening. Like Rio just it's not really a fight. Rio just kind of like hits him once, and he wins. So I thought that was kind of ridiculous, to be honest. Like, I know why they're doing it this way, but I just don't like it. It just feels like this should have been there should have actually been a fight here, because I do remember, I think there was supposed to be a boss fight in this part, but like I said, yeah, they cut it out and just had it so that I think Rio just hits him once and he wins. Which like I said, I really don't like that decision, but I guess it's better than them cutting the thing entirely, where he's just never shows up.
Yeah, so eventually, so Rio and Ren managed to get Joy out, and then they overhear through over the radio that I think they said that that Wong is helping Yondeju escape the building, and then they end up running into the neat freak again, interrogating him of where the deal to transfer Yondeju out of the building is going to take place. So Ren threatens him by literally trying to kick trash into him before the guy just snaps and decides to just straight up tell him that the deal is taking place on the roof, and then and of course they head to the roof, but not before Ren decides to just kick the trash into the guy anyway.
Yeah. There was also that part where they were being chased by Dooney, where they had to cross that plank. I do remember that part. That was actually supposed to be a QTE. But here they just kind of, they easily just get across the plank. Like, of course, it happens much slower in the game. Yeah. And I think they do eventually end up, I think they do run into Dooney again, because he comes up the elevator at one point.
Yeah. But I think at the end of this episode, all three of them managed to get to the rooftop. And of course, Rio, of course, sees Londi descending down from a helicopter, and that's where the episode ends. Yeah,
I do remember more about where we're at now in this point of the story. So pretty much the next episode is going to be the fight with Rio versus Dooney. Depending on how long that goes on for, the rest of what's going to happen is going to either be, is going to, well, I think it's going to be cut either way, but it's, I think there's going to be a lot of cut content, or just at least like shortening of certain scenes. But yeah, like what's going to happen next episode is going to be Rio versus Dooney, because Dooney's going to get to the roof. And then of course, Londi's going to just barely, or he's going to get away. And then we're going to go to this, I forget where the place is, but Rio, of course, is going to finally end up meeting up with Shenhua. And there's a really long segment in the game where Rio and Shenhua are like talking, or walking and talking, where they're like on their way to Bailu Village. I think this part is definitely going to be significantly cut. There's going to be like way less dialogue between Rio and Shenhua. And I don't know how to feel about that. I guess if they ever do Shenmue 3, an anime for Shenmue 3, we'll get more of development between Rio and Shenhua. But yeah, I think in the anime they're going to cut that down quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was last week there was an article that came out saying that that a studio is now developing Shenmue 4 of sorts.
Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, they said there was it was a rumor that there might be that might be happening because of a reference to an apple and a banana, which is, I guess, something from. I guess it's some kind of nod to Shenmue, like I guess because Ryo eats that or something. I don't know. It seemed like a stretch to me, but maybe that's what it is. I'm not sure. But we do know that Yu Suzuki does want to make Shenmue 4, so I guess it wouldn't be too far-fetched that might be what the announcement is. Of course, the big question is, how is that going to happen? Is it going to be crowdfunded again, or is there going to be like a publisher that is going to like help fund the project?
I mean, it's hard to say at this point, but all we know is, it's just, all we know is like, the season is coming to an end right now, and we don't know whether or not they're planning on maybe a third season. No, not third season. Another season, maybe adapting Shenmue 3 of sorts. Whether that's going to happen, it's anyone's guess. But some people are saying that next week's episode is called the season finale, so they're not necessarily calling it the series finale. Based on, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, because this is not the end of the story for Ryo and everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, I could actually kind of see them, saying like doing the plot of Shenmue 3 and saying like Shenmue the Animation Season 2 or whatever, and having it be like around the same amount of episodes as this. Because Shenmue 3, like, I would say, like, from what I played of it, that it would be a lot easier to adapt Shenmue 3 because there's definitely a lot more fat, let's say, that could be cut out of the plot because of, like, all the important things that are important that happen and the things that aren't important. There's quite a bit of time you spend just kind of messing around in Bailu Village in Shenmue 3, so I think they could definitely 12 to 13 episodes would be way more manageable if they did Shenmue 3. But yeah, I guess we'll just have to see if they end up like teasing Shenmue 3 or somehow if they plan to do an adaptation of that.
Yeah, I mean, for next week's episode, I mean, we pretty much know where it's going to end, but I'm just worried in how much they only have like what 24, 25 minutes of material to put into this episode.
I know that are like 23 minutes. I forget how long they are. I think it's around that.
Yeah, it's like I don't. It's hard for me to know like how much they're going to be adapting, what they're going to be taking out, because we know this. I feel like this should have been at least another couple episodes longer.
Yeah. Because
of in here, supposedly what's going to be in this last episode, but yeah, that's my one concern of like what's going to happen next week is things like too many things are just going to get cut out. I mean, we know what's going to be in it and what's going to be showcased in the finale, but I really wish they could have added maybe another episode to adapt the show.
It definitely would have helped with the pacing. Because I feel like it hasn't overall been rushed, but it has been kind of all over the place. Like there'll be episodes that'll feel like they're not that fast paced, and then there'll be episodes that feel like they're really trying to rush to get through things. So it's a little bit inconsistent. But I kind of understand why they had to do that. But I feel like if they had more time, it wouldn't feel that way. So I think that's the main issue. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say about this episode. I am very curious as to how they're going to wrap things up in the anime. But I guess we'll just have to see next week. I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
I mean, in my opinion, I think so far this show has probably been a decent adaptation, despite the fact that there has been some amount of pacing issues and some amount of cuts. It's decent,
but it could have been a lot better, I think. I guess I'll take what I can get. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we'll probably give our final opinions when the season finale is going to be airing next week.
Yeah. So that all being said, until next Saturday, we will see you all next time.